The knife slipped. Blood bloomed across Imani Road's palm, bright red against the white fondant she'd been smoothing for the past 3 hours. She didn't cry out, didn't move, just watched the blood spread like a stain she'd never be able to clean. It was 4 in the morning. The kitchen of Margot's, one of Manhattan's most exclusive restaurants, was silent except for the hum of industrial refrigerators and her own breathing. In front of her stood 5 tiers of wedding cake, ivory fondant, gold leaf details, sugar flowers so delicate they looked like they might blow away, 200 hours of work, her sister's wedding cake. Gabrielle hadn't asked her to make it, their mother had. It would mean so much to Gaby, Claudia Ashford had said over the phone 6 weeks ago, her voice doing that thing where it sounded sweet but felt like a trap. You're so talented, Imani, and it would save us so much money. Imani had wanted to say no, should have said no. But there was something about the way her mother said her name, like she was surprised Imani could be useful, that made the words stick in her throat. So she'd said yes, and now her hand was bleeding onto the most beautiful thing she'd ever made. She wrapped a kitchen towel around her palm and kept working. By the time the sun came up, the cake was finished, perfect, 5 tiers of architectural precision and edible art. Imani stood back exhausted and felt nothing, not pride, not satisfaction, just the familiar weight of knowing it wouldn't matter. Her phone buzzed on the counter. A text from Reina, her business partner and the only person in the world who seemed to notice when Imani was disappearing. You still here? Finishing up. C1's assistant called again, another event, he's asking for you specifically. Imani stared at the message, choice C1. She'd been trying not to think about him for 3 days. Tell him I'm busy. I did, he doubled the rate. Reina. I'm just saying, the man is obsessed with your desserts or something. Imani closed her eyes. Choice C1 had walked into Margot's 8 months ago and changed everything without asking permission. He'd hired her for a corporate event, paid 3 times the standard rate and then kept hearing her. Again and again. Every event became an excuse to talk to her, to watch her work, to ask questions that felt too personal for a client. Why do you make everything so perfect? He'd asked once, standing too close to her station while she piped chocolate ganache. Because perfect is the only thing people remember, she'd answered. That's not true, his voice had been quiet, certain. I'd remember you even if everything you made was ugly. She'd laughed because she didn't know what else to do, but he hadn't been joking. And that was the problem. Choi Siwon looked at her like she mattered, like she was something more than the disappointment her family saw when they looked at her. It terrified her. I'll think about it, she texted Reina. He scares you. Yes. Good, you need someone who scares you a little. Imani didn't respond. She packed the cake into transport boxes with the kind of care most people reserved for newborns, loaded everything into the refrigerated van she'd rented, and drove to her parents' house in Westchester. The Ashford estate sat on 3 acres of manicured lawn. Old money, new money pretending to be old money. Imani had grown up here and never felt like she belonged. She pulled around to the service entrance. Not the front door, never the front door, that was for family, real family, the kind that fit in pictures. Her mother was in the kitchen when Imani started unloading, directing caterers with the precision of a general. Claudia Ashford had been a pageant queen in another life. She still moved like someone who expected to be photographed. Oh, you're here, Claudia said, glancing at Imani the way you'd glance at a package delivery. Is that the cake? Yes. Let me see. Imani opened the top box. Claudia leaned in, studied the details, and frowned. It's beautiful, she said slowly, like the words hurt. Try not to eat half of it before tomorrow. The room went quiet. One of the caterers looked away. Another suddenly became very interested in the floral arrangements. Imani's hands didn't shake. They never shook anymore. I'll set it up in the ballroom, she said. The tent, we're using the tent for the reception. Right. Imani carried the boxes outside alone. No one offered to help. The tent was massive white silk draped like something out of a fairy tale, round tables with centerpieces that probably cost more than Imani's monthly rent, a stage for the band, a dance floor that gleamed. She spent 2 hours assembling the cake on its table at the back of the tent, each tier stacked with mathematical precision, each sugar flower placed exactly right, When she finished, she stepped back and looked at it. It was the most beautiful thing in the room. And no one would remember she made it. Wow. Imani turned. Dominique stood at the entrance of the tent wearing athleisure that cost more than Imani's rent and holding a green juice. Her younger sister, the smart one, the one who'd graduated summa cum laude from Princeton and now worked in corporate law. It's really good, Manny, Dominique said, using the childhood nickname that felt like a knife. Gaby's going to love it. Thanks. You okay? You look tired. I'm fine. Dominique nodded, but her eyes said she didn't believe it. She also didn't push. That wasn't how the Ashford family worked. You didn't ask, you didn't dig, you just pretended everything was fine until it became true. Mom wants you at the rehearsal dinner tonight, Dominique said. 7 o'clock, don't be late. I'll be there. And Manny, Dominique hesitated. Maybe wear something nice, Mom's been stressed. Translation, don't embarrass us. Imani nodded, Dominique left, and Imani stood alone in a tent full of beauty she'd created but would never be part of. Her phone buzzed. A text from a number she'd been avoiding. I heard you're at a wedding this weekend, I hope they deserve you. Joy C1. Imani stared at the message. She should delete it, block the number, stop letting this man see her. Instead she typed they don't. The response came immediately. Then why are you there? She didn't answer, because the truth was too ugly, because she kept hopping that if she was good enough, small enough, useful enough, her family would love her. And she knew that made her pathetic. The rehearsal dinner was worse than she'd expected. Imani arrived at 7 exactly, wearing a black dress she'd bought on sale and hoped was appropriate. The restaurant was one of those places where the menu didn't have prices and everyone spoke in quiet, cultured tones. Gabrielle's future in-laws were there. Lawyers, activists, people who smiled with their teeth and judged with their eyes. Imani was seated at the far end of the table, not next to her sisters, not next to her parents. Between a cousin she'd met twice and Gabrielle's maid of honor who introduced herself and then immediately turned to talk to someone more interesting. Claudia stood to give a toast. She talked about Gabrielle's accomplishments, her beauty, her grace, how proud she was, how lucky Gabrielle's fiancé was to marry into such a wonderful family. She didn't mention Imani once. Not even when discussing the wedding cake, she just said, and we have the most exquisite cake waiting for tomorrow. We, like it had materialized out of collective family effort. Imani drank her wine and said nothing. After dinner, Gabrielle cornered her outside the restroom. Manny, I just wanted to say thank you for the cake. I saw it earlier and I literally cried. I'm glad you like it. I love it. Gabrielle's eyes were bright, genuine. For a second, Imani remembered when they were kids and Gabrielle had been her best friend, before their mother decided there were winners and losers in the family and Imani wasn't winning. I wish, Gabrielle started then stopped, I wish things were different. They're not. I know, Gabrielle looked away, I'm sorry. She wasn't sorry enough to change anything, but Imani nodded anyway. That night, alone in her childhood bedroom that had been turned into a home gym, Imani's phone rang. Joy C1. She answered before she could stop herself. Hello. You sound sad. His voice was quiet, certain, like he could see through the phone. I'm fine. Liar. Imani closed her eyes. What do you want? I want you to stop pretending you're fine when you're not. You don't know me. I know you make perfect things because you think perfection will make people love you. I know you work until your hands bleed because pain is easier than feeling invisible. I know you're at a wedding surrounded by family and you've never felt more alone. Imani's breath caught. How? Because I see you, Imani. I've been seeing you for 8 months, and I'm tired of watching you disappear. Silence. Why do you care? She whispered. Because someone should. Something cracked in her chest, not breaking, shifting. I have to go, she said. One more thing. What? Tomorrow, when they treat you like you don't matter, I want you to call me. Can you do that? Why? Because I protect what's mine. I'm not yours. Not yet. He hung up. Imani sat in the dark, heart pounding, and knew she was in trouble. The wedding day was perfect, sunny, 72 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Imani wore the bridesmaid dress her mother had chosen. Pale pink, too tight in the waist, too short for her height. She looked at herself in the mirror and wanted to cry. Dominique and the other bridesmaids wore custom-fitted dresses in the same color. Elegant, flattering. Imani's looked like an afterthought, like someone had grabbed the wrong size and decided it was close enough. "You look beautiful," Gabrielle lied when she saw her. Imani smiled, "So do you." And Gabrielle did. She looked like a princess, like someone worth celebrating. The ceremony was beautiful, the vows were perfect. Imani stood at the altar with the other bridesmaids and felt like a prop. At the reception, things got worse. A guest mistook her for catering staff. "Excuse me, can you get me another glass of champagne?" Imani stared at the woman, middle-aged, dripping in diamonds, smiling expectantly. "I'm not." "Oh, are you on break? That's fine, I'll find someone else." The woman walked away before Imani could finish. Dominique saw the whole thing. She looked away. During the speeches, Gabrielle's maid of honor talked about sisterhood, about how lucky Gabrielle was to have Dominique as a sister, how they'd been inseparable growing up. Imani wasn't mentioned. Not once. When dinner was served, Imani was seated at a table in the back corner, not with family, with distant relatives and plus ones who didn't know each other. She watched her parents laugh at the main table, watched Gabrielle glow, watched Dominique give a toast that made everyone cry. And she felt herself disappearing. After dinner, Claudia found her. "We need to talk." They walked to a quiet corner of the tent. Marcus followed. Imani's father, the surgeon, the man who'd stopped looking at her years ago. "Your father and I have been discussing your living situation," Claudia said. Imani's stomach dropped. "What?" "You're 26 years old, Imani, still renting that apartment in Queens, still working at a restaurant. Don't you think it's time to get serious about your life?" "I am serious, I'm building a business." "A pastry business?" Claudia's voice was sharp. "That's not a career, that's a hobby." "It's not." "We think you need motivation," Marcus said, his first words to her all weekend. "So we're raising your rent." Imani blinked. "What?" "You've been paying below market rate for your apartment," Claudia continued. "We own the building, we've been lenient, but it's time you learned responsibility. You're charging me more rent. Double starting next month." The world tilted. "I can't afford that." "Then maybe you'll be motivated to find a real job, lose some weight, meet a respectable man, get your life together." There it was, the real message. You're not good enough, you've never been good enough, and we're tired of pretending. Imani's vision blurred, not from tears, from rage. "Is that all?" "Don't be dramatic," Claudia said, "we're trying to help you." Imani turned and walked away before she said something she couldn't take back. She made it to the parking lot before she started shaking. Her phone was in her hand before she realized what she was doing. She called Choi Si-won. He answered on the first ring. "Come get me," she whispered. "Where are you?" She told him. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. Si-won. "Yes." "Don't come alone." Silence. "Then I never do." 20 minutes felt like hours. Imani sat on the curb in the parking lot, still wearing the too-tight pink dress, and watched luxury cars come and go, valets rushing, laughter floating from the tent, the sound of her sister's perfect wedding happening without her. She should feel something, sadness, anger, anything. Instead, she just felt numb. Headlights swept across the parking lot, not one car, three, black SUVs with tinted windows moving in formation like they were escorting someone who mattered. They stopped in front of her. The back door of the middle vehicle opened. Choi Si-won stepped out. He was wearing a black suit, expensive, tailored, the kind of thing her father would approve of if Marcus Ashford had ever bothered to meet him. Si-won's expression was unreadable, but his eyes found her immediately and didn't let go. He didn't say anything, just walked over and extended his hand. Imani took it. His grip was warm, steady, real. "You're leaving?" he asked quietly. "I don't know." "That's not an answer." "I don't have an answer." Si-won studied her face, the ruined makeup, the dress that didn't fit, the way she was holding herself together with nothing but spite. "What did they do to you?" "It doesn't matter." It does to me. Before Imani could respond, voices erupted from the direction of the tent, her mother's voice, sharp, furious. Imani, where are you? Claudia appeared at the edge of the parking lot, Marcus right behind her. They stopped when they saw the SUVs, the men in dark suits standing at attention, Siwon's hand still holding Imani's. What is this? Claudia demanded. Siwon turned slowly. When he looked at Claudia, something shifted in the air, temperature dropped, the easy confidence he usually carried sharpened into something colder. Mrs. Ashford, he said, his voice was polite, empty. I'm Choi Siwon, I'm here to pick up Imani. Pick her up, she's in the middle of her sister's wedding. She called me, I came. Claudia's eyes narrowed, she looked at Imani like she was seeing something disgusting. You called a man to come get you during Gabrielle's wedding, are you trying to ruin this day? I'm not trying to ruin anything, Imani said quietly. Then go back inside, stop being dramatic. She's not going back inside, Siwon said. The silence that followed was dangerous. Marcus stepped forward. I'm sorry, who are you exactly? Someone who values your daughter more than you do. Claudia's face went red. Excuse me. You heard me. You have no right. I have every right. Imani is an adult, she called me, I'm taking her home. Siwon's voice didn't rise, but something in it made Marcus take a step back. Unless you'd like to physically stop her from leaving, in which case we'll have a different conversation. One of the men from the SUVs moved closer, not threatening, just present, a reminder. This is insane, Claudia hissed. She turned to Imani. If you leave now, don't bother coming back. Imani felt the words land, felt them try to take root. But Siwon's hand tightened around hers. She won't need to, he said. Then he led Imani to the car. She got in, the door closed, the world outside became muffled and distant. Siwon slid in beside her. The driver pulled away smoothly, the other two SUVs flanking them like a convoy. Imani stared out the window and watched her parents standing in the parking lot, getting smaller and smaller until they disappeared. Where are we going? She asked. My place, unless you want to go somewhere else. I don't want to go anywhere. Then my place. They drove in silence. Imani tried to process what had just happened, tried to feel something about leaving her sister's wedding, about her mother's ultimatum, about the fact that she just let a man she barely knew take her away from her entire family. But all she felt was tired. Siwon's penthouse was in Tribeca, 40th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, minimalist furniture, art that probably cost more than Imani's entire life. She stood in the middle of the living room and didn't know what to do with herself. Sit, Siwon said. She sat. He disappeared into another room and came back with a first aid kit. Your hand, he said. Imani looked down. The cut from this morning had bled through the kitchen towel she'd wrapped it in. She'd forgotten about it. Siwon knelt in front of her and took her hand gently. He unwrapped the towel, cleaned the wound with careful precision and bandaged it without saying a word. His hands were steady, professional, like he'd done this before. How did you know? Imani asked quietly. Know what? That I needed you to come. Siwon looked up, his eyes were dark, serious. Because I've been watching you disappear for 8 months, and tonight you finally asked for help. You don't know me. I know enough. You don't know what you're getting into. Yes, I do. He finished bandaging her hand and sat back. Your family treats you like you're invisible. They use you, they take what you create and act like it appeared out of nowhere. They make you feel small because it makes them feel big. And you let them because somewhere along the way you started believing you deserved it. Imani's throat tightened. I don't. You do. His voice was gentle but firm. You think if you're perfect enough they'll love you, but Imani, they don't want you to be perfect, they want you to be gone. The words hit like a punch. Because they were true. I don't know how to stop, she whispered. I'll teach you. Why? Siwon leaned forward, close enough that she could see the exact moment his expression shifted from gentle to something else, something possessive. Because I don't share, he said quietly, and I don't let people break what's mine. I'm not yours. You called me, you got in my car, you're in my home. He tilted his head slightly. What do you think that makes you? Imani's heart was racing, she should be scared, should tell him this was too much, too fast, too dangerous. Instead she asked, "What do you want from me?" "Everything." "That's not an answer." "Yes, it is." Siwon stood and walked to the windows. Manhattan glittered below them like a promise. "I want you to stop pretending you're fine, stop making yourself small, stop giving pieces of yourself to people who don't deserve them. And if I can't, then I'll make you." The words should have terrified her, but something about the way he said them felt like safety. "I don't understand you," Imani said. Siwon turned, smiled slightly. It wasn't a kind smile. "You will." He left her alone in the living room, came back with clothes, sweatpants, a t-shirt, soft things that didn't cut into her skin. "Change, sleep, we'll talk in the morning." "I can't stay here." "Yes, you can." "Siwon." "Imani." He said her name like it was important, like it mattered. "Your mother just told you not to come back, you don't have anywhere else to go, so you're staying here. And tomorrow we're going to figure out how to burn your life down and build something better." She should argue, should insist she could handle this herself. But she was so tired. "Okay," she whispered. Siwon nodded, left her alone. Imani changed into the clothes he'd given her, climbed into the guest bed, stared at the ceiling. Her phone buzzed, messages flooding in. "Dominique, what the hell, Manny, you just left." "Gabrielle, Mom is furious, please tell me you're okay." Her mother, "You've embarrassed this family for the last time, don't contact us again." Imani turned off her phone. And for the first time in 26 years, she didn't feel guilty about it. When she woke up, sun was streaming through unfamiliar windows. It took her a moment to remember where she was. Siwon's penthouse. She'd left her sister's wedding, her mother had disowned her. She should panic, should cry, should feel something. Instead she felt light. There was coffee in the kitchen, fresh pastries from a bakery she recognized, a note in precise handwriting. "Eat, I'll be back by noon, don't leave, S." Imani ate, showered, borrowed more of Siwon's clothes. By the time he came back, she'd made a decision. He found her in the living room, staring out at the city. "You're still here," he said. "You told me not to leave. And you listened. Don't get used to it." Siwon smiled, set down his briefcase, walked over to stand beside her. "What are you thinking?" he asked. "I'm thinking I need to know what this is, what you want, what happens next." "Fair. So tell me." Siwon was quiet for a long moment, then he said, "I'm not a good man, Imani, I'm not kind, I don't forgive easily, and when I want something I take it. That's supposed to make me trust you." "No, it's supposed to make you understand what you're agreeing to." "I haven't agreed to anything." "Not yet," he turned to look at her. "But you will, because I'm the only person who's ever looked at you and seen something worth protecting, and you're desperate enough to gamble on that." He was right, and that should terrify her. "What do you want from me?" she asked again. "I want you to let me take care of you, I want you to stop running back to people who hurt you, I want you to build the business you're too afraid to build, and I want you to stop apologizing for existing." "That's a lot." "I know. What do you get out of it?" Siwon's expression shifted, something dark flickered across his face. "You," he said simply. "That's not." "It's exactly enough." He stepped closer. "I don't want half of you, Imani. I don't want the version you show strangers. I want all of it, the anger, the fear, the parts you think are too much. I want the woman who bleeds onto wedding cakes and still makes them perfect. I want the person your family tried to erase. I want you to be so completely mine that no one ever makes you feel invisible again." Imani's breath caught. "And if I say no?" "Then I'll take you home, give you space, and watch you destroy yourself trying to earn love from people who'll never give it." He paused. "But you won't say no. You're very sure of yourself." "I'm sure of you." Silence stretched between them, dangerous, electric. "I don't know how to do this," Imani whispered. "I'll teach you." "You keep saying that." "Because it's true." Siwon reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was gentle, possessive. "Say yes, Imani, let me show you what it feels like to matter." She should say no, should run, should remember that men who promise everything usually deliver nothing. But when she looked at Choi Siwon, she didn't see someone trying to save her. She saw someone who wanted to own her. And God help her, that felt like the same thing. "Okay," she said. Siwon smiled. It was the smile of someone who'd just won something valuable. Good girl. 2 days later, everything changed. Imani woke up to her phone ringing. Reina. Have you seen the internet? Reina's voice was breathless, excited, terrified. What? Check Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, literally everywhere. Imani's stomach dropped. She opened Instagram. The first video she saw was from Gabrielle's wedding. Someone had recorded the parking lot confrontation. Claudia's voice sharp and cruel, Siwon's quiet threat, the SUVs, Imani getting into the car. The caption, when your family treats you like trash and your man shows up like the final boss. It had 4 million views. The comments were brutal. The way her mom said don't come back like she's doing her a favor, toxic. That man said I value your daughter more than you do and ate, no crumbs. Not the mom charging her rent to live in a building she OWNS, evil behavior. Plot twist, that's Choi Siwon, as in CHOISIWON, she upgraded from family dinner to private jets. Imani scrolled, found more videos, different angles, people had been filming, the internet had decided she was the protagonist, her family was the villain, and Siwon was the love interest who'd swooped in to save her. Except it wasn't a movie. It was her life. Imani, Reina's voice pulled her back. Are you okay? I don't know. People are calling the restaurant, asking about you, asking if you're taking orders. What? Your Instagram went from 2,000 followers to 40,000 overnight. People want to hire you, big people. Imani's hands were shaking. Her phone buzzed, a text from a number she didn't recognize. This is Day, Siwon's associate. We need to talk about security, call me. Another text, this one from Siwon. I'm handling it, don't leave the apartment. She called him. What did you do? She asked. I didn't do anything, someone filmed us, it went viral. This is bad. No, this is useful. Useful. Your family humiliated you in public, now the public knows they can't touch you without making themselves look worse. His voice was calm, calculated. This is exactly what we needed. Wait. Yes, you're mine now, remember, what happens to you happens to me. Imani's chest tightened. I didn't agree to this. You got in my car, you stayed in my home, you said yes. A pause. There's no going back now, Imani. The line went dead. Imani sat on the edge of the bed and tried to breathe. Her phone kept buzzing, messages, emails, calls. One message stood out. From her father. We need to talk, this has gone too far. She stared at it. For 26 years, Marcus Ashford had barely looked at her. Now that she was viral, now that people were talking, suddenly he wanted to talk. Imani deleted the message. And that's when she realized something. Siwon was right. There was no going back. The video didn't die, it grew. By the end of the week, Imani's story was everywhere. News outlets picked it up. Think pieces about toxic families, debates about parental accountability. Her mother's Facebook page got flooded with comments so vicious that Claudia had to delete it entirely. Gabrielle called once, Imani didn't answer. Dominique sent a long text about how this was ruining the family's reputation. How could Imani be so selfish? Didn't she care about anyone but herself? Imani blocked the number. Marcus tried a different approach. He showed up at Margot's during her shift. The hostess called her to the front. There's someone here to see you. Imani walked out of the kitchen, still wearing her chef's whites, and found her father standing in the foyer looking uncomfortable. Imani, you need to leave. I just want to talk. No. Marcus's jaw tightened. He wasn't used to being told no, especially not by her. This has gotten out of hand, he said quietly. Your mother is devastated. Gabrielle's honeymoon was ruined because people kept recognizing her and asking about you. Do you understand what you've done? I left a wedding, that's all I did. You made us look like monsters. I didn't make you do anything, I just stopped pretending you weren't. Marcus's face darkened. That man you're with, Choi Siwon, do you have any idea who he is? I know enough. He's dangerous, Imani. He's not some knight in shining armor. He's a businessman with a reputation for destroying people who get in his way. Good, then he'll fit right in with this family. Imani. You came here to protect your reputation, not me, so let's not pretend this is about concern. She crossed her arms. You have 30 seconds to leave before I call security. Marcus stared at her like he was seeing a stranger. Maybe he was. You're making a mistake, he said. Maybe, but it's my mistake to make. He left. Imani went back to the kitchen and her hands didn't shake once. That night, Siwon took her to dinner. Not a restaurant, his private dining room on the 45th floor of a building he owned, floor-to-ceiling windows, a table set for two, a chef Imani recognized from a Michelin-starred kitchen preparing food in real time. This is excessive, Imani said. I don't do anything halfway. They ate in comfortable silence. Siwon watched her the way he always did, like she was something rare he'd found and refused to let go of. My father came to see me today, Imani said finally. I know. You know. Day told me. You're having me followed. I'm having you protected, there's a difference. Imani set down her fork. You can't just decide to control my life. I'm not controlling it, I'm investing in it. Siwon leaned back in his chair. Your family tried to bury you, I'm making sure they can't. By what? Surveillance, bodyguards I didn't ask for. By making sure that when they come for you, and they will, they have to go through me first. I don't need you to fight my battles. No, but you deserve someone who will anyway. The words settled between them, heavy true. What do you want from me, Siwon? Imani asked quietly, really. He was silent for a long moment, then he stood, walked around the table and crouched in front of her chair, eye level, close enough that she could see the exact shade of brown in his eyes. I want you to stop running, he said. I want you to build the business you're afraid to build. I want you to let me fund it, protect it, make it so successful that your family has to watch you win. That's revenge. Yes. That's not healthy. I never said it was. He reached up and cupped her face, gentle, possessive, but it's honest, and I'd rather be honest with you than lie and call it love. Imani's breath caught. Is that what this is, revenge? For you, yes, for me. His thumb brushed her cheek. This is me keeping something I don't deserve but refuse to give up. You're not a good man. I told you that already. I should leave. You won't. He was right, and that terrified her. Why not? She whispered. Because I see you, Imani, all of you, the parts you think are too much, the anger you're too afraid to show, the talent you keep making small because you're scared of what happens if you take up space. He leaned closer. I see it all and I want it all, and you've spent your entire life invisible. You're not ready to go back to that. Tears burned behind her eyes. You're cruel. I'm honest. Same thing. Siwon smiled, soft, dangerous. Say yes. To what? To letting me build you an empire, to letting me destroy anyone who tries to hurt you, to being mine completely. That's not love. No, it's better. It's a choice you make every day, and every day I'll make sure you don't regret it. Imani should say no, should recognize this for what it was, a cage, beautifully decorated, lined with silk and safety and everything she'd ever wanted. But still a cage. And if I want to leave, she asked. Then you leave, I won't stop you. His eyes darkened. But I won't let you go back to them. I'll burn every bridge before I let you crawl back to people who made you bleed. That's not your choice. Then don't make me choose. They stared at each other, two people who understood damage, who recognized it in each other and called it compatibility. Okay, Imani whispered. Siwon's smile was the smile of someone who just won a war. Good girl. 3 months later, Imani opened her own bakery. Siwon funded it, didn't ask for equity, didn't put his name on anything, just handed her the keys to a space in Soho and said, make it yours. She did. The opening was covered by every food magazine in the city, lines wrapped around the block, celebrities ordered custom cakes, her Instagram hit 500,000 followers. Her family saw all of it. Claudia sent one email, subject line, we need to talk. Imani deleted it without reading. Gabrielle tried to visit the bakery. Imani had security turn her away. Marcus called Siwon directly, threatened legal action, accused him of manipulating Imani. Siwon's response was simple, try. The lawsuit never materialized. But something else did. 6 months after the bakery opened, Imani was featured in a major culinary magazine. The cover story, rising star, self-made entrepreneur, the article mentioned her family once. When asked about her relationship with her parents, Rhodes declined to comment, saying only, "Some families are born, some are chosen, I chose mine." The quote went viral. People loved it, called her brave, inspirational, a voice for anyone who'd ever been hurt by the people who were supposed to love them. But Imani knew the truth. She hadn't escaped her family. She traded them for something else. Something just as consuming, just as inescapable. Choi Siwon. He was there every night, in her apartment, in her bed, in her business decisions, in every corner of her life. He was gentle, attentive, protective. He was also everywhere. The security he'd assigned never left. Day reported her movements. Siwon knew where she was, who she talked to, what she ate for lunch. When she confronted him, he didn't deny it. "I told you," he said calmly, "I protect what's mine. This isn't protection, this is control. Call it whatever makes you feel better." Siwon. "You're successful because I made sure no one could stop you. You're safe because I made sure your family couldn't touch you. You have everything you wanted." He stepped closer. "Don't pretend you don't like it." And that was the problem. She did like it. She liked being seen, being protected, being valued. Even if the cost was her freedom. "I can't breathe," she whispered. "Yes, you can, you're just not used to someone caring if you do." "That's not fair." "Nothing about this is fair, but it's real." He cupped her face, forced her to look at him. "I gave you everything, Imani, your business, your safety, your revenge. Don't tell me it's not enough." "I never asked for this. You asked me to come get you, everything else was just me keeping my promise." Tears slipped down her cheeks. Because he was right. She had asked. And he had come. And now she belonged to him in ways she'd never belonged to anyone else. "I hate you," she whispered. "No, you don't." "I should." "But you don't," he kissed her forehead, soft, final, "because I'm the only person who ever chose you and you're too smart to walk away from that." He was right. And she hated that he was right. 1 year after leaving her sister's wedding, Imani walked through Koreatown with Siwon. They stopped at a newsstand. There, on the cover of a culinary magazine, was her face. Imani Rhodes, the pastry chef who built an empire on her own terms. Siwon bought 3 copies. "Frame one," he said. "That's tacky." "I don't care." They walked back to his car. The same black SUV, the same driver, the same life she'd built with him. "Do you regret it?" Siwon asked. "What?" "Leaving them, choosing this." Imani looked at him, at the man who'd given her everything and taken just as much. "I don't know," she said honestly. "Fair enough." They drove in silence. And Imani stared out the window at a city that knew her name. She was famous, successful, protected. She was also trapped. In a penthouse with a man who loved her the way predators love prey. Completely. Irrevocably. Forever. Her phone buzzed. A message from a number she didn't recognize. "I saw your magazine cover, I'm proud of you, Dad." Imani stared at it. Marcus Ashford reaching out now that she was worth acknowledging. She showed Siwon the message. He read it, handed the phone back. "What do you want to do?" he asked. Imani looked at the message for a long time. Then she blocked the number. "Nothing," she said. Siwon smiled. And Imani realized something. She'd spent 26 years trying to earn her family's love. And now she'd spend the rest of her life earning her freedom from the man who'd saved her. But when she looked at Siwon, when she saw the way he looked at her like she was the only thing that mattered, she wondered if freedom was what she really wanted. Or if being chosen, completely, obsessively, dangerously chosen, was enough. The car pulled up to the penthouse. Siwon helped her out. They rode the elevator in silence. And when the doors opened to his home, their home, Imani stepped inside. The door closed behind them. Locked. She was safe. She was seen. She was loved. She was trapped. And somewhere in the back of her mind, a voice whispered, "You'll never leave." Siwon pulled her close. "Welcome home," he said. And Imani closed her eyes. Because home wasn't supposed to feel like a beautiful cage. But it did. And she'd stopped trying to escape. If this story made you feel something, anger, pain, hope, or something you can't name, drop a comment below and tell me which moment hit you hardest. And if you want more stories about people who loved dangerously and lived even more dangerously, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this is just the beginning. What would you do if the person who saved you became the person you needed saving from? Tell me in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. And remember, sometimes the cage is lined with gold, but it's still a cage.